What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm going to be doing another review of Star Wars Resistance. Now, this is episode 17. I have made it through 17 episodes. I know the season is over now, and it's taken me a while to come out with this review breakdown, but if you had ever seen the show, you would understand how painful it is to watch and how making these, it takes a toll on your sanity. If you're a sane person. If you're not a sane person, then great for you. You can probably get through the show very easily. And I am insulted for the children that this is supposedly aimed to, even though it comes out at 10 p.m. on a Sunday night, which is a school night, and they just came out with a line of toys on February 1st, and, you know, they don't even have spaceships for it. They just have the basic action figures, which you can't find anywhere because nobody wants to sell them. So yeah, it's for kids. I would like to just give kids a little bit more credit than this. Kids, if you've ever been around them, you know that they are incredibly intelligent and they pick up on almost everything, even the stuff that you wouldn't expect a child to pick up on. They do. They're just not, you know, aware of the context of it until they get older. Then they're like, oh, you know, I realized that as a kid and it clicked. So in this episode, it starts off with them racing, and then what happens? Oh my god, the First Order, they don't like that they're racing. So Goldie, the Gold Stormtrooper, goes up to Captain Doza and it's like, that can't be any more racing on this barge. It's not good for security. And Captain Doze is just like, I want there to be racing. There needs to be racing. And then Goldie's like, I will take care of this type of thing. And so, then they're going to announce that there's no more racing because it's a security breach. And I'm going to paraphrase because I kid you guys not. I have watched this episode multiple times, and I have sat there, focused completely on the screen, and I still zone off because it's just that stupid and that forgettable. So, dude that's like a knockoff of Greedo, who's a racer, who's got the most annoying voice and personality, who's supposed to be, you know, the hip guy, he doesn't like that they're not going to be racing anymore, so he gets mad, and because all the ace pilots are finding out that there's no more racing. So, Greedo wannabe is like, what do you mean? And he's like, Captain Dozy, you gotta fix this, bro! So then he goes off to his ship, and there's the stormtroopers, and they're, you know, locking his ship down. And he's like, what the heck are you guys doing? This is my ship, I was gonna go test it. Like, oh no, you're grounded, you can't fly your ship. Or, I should fix that. No, you're grounded. You can't fly your ship anymore because we're the First Order and we say so. And so he's just like, what? What do you mean you can't do this? I'm an ace pilot. This is what I'm supposed to do, bro. And they're just like, they all of a sudden now they're, instead of just 2 of them, now there's like 10 of them and they're surrounding him and it's getting closer. He's like, oh, it's okay, guys. It's okay. And then the screen goes black. Cut over to the guys at the bar. I have like a tickle in my throat. I feel like a cough coming. Fingers crossed I don't cough too much in this video. So, they're at the bar. Who knows why they allowed teenagers at a bar, but whatever. Plot, logic. So, kids are at the bar. Oh my gosh, there's the black BB-8 that's mean, and there's the little alien dude from, like, episode 2 that is there, doesn't like the black BB-8, and black BB-8 is like, man. So, kids are there, and guess what? So, I've talked about how I don't like the main character of the show, and every episode I'm just like, please let him die. Please let something happen so he dies so somebody else gets to be the main character. This character is Kaz. So, every episode I have talked about how Kaz is a complete moron and I do not understand how he has survived for this long. Well, guys, guess what? Miraculously, it's the most amazing thing ever. You know how Anakin was just born of the Force? Like, Shmi just magically got pregnant from the Force and the midichlorians that, you know, were manipulated. And, you know, the theory about how it's Darth Sidious that did it. I always thought it was Darth Plagueis that did it. Because I thought that what he was leading to when he's telling Anakin the legend of Darth Plagueis the Wise and how he was able to create life, and when he says it, he looks at Anakin, so I always thought it was Darth Plagueis that created Anakin, but apparently it's Darth Sidious, but whatever, off on that tangent. So, how apparently, you know, Anakin was made of the Force, miraculously, guys, miraculously, Kaz grew a brain. Kaz grew a brain in this episode. Every single other episode, he's been a complete moron, and it doesn't make sense how he survives each episode. It doesn't even make sense how he knows how to breathe. Like, I feel like he's one of those people that if breathing wasn't a natural reflex, he wouldn't know how to do it. That's the type of character that Kaz is. But somehow he grew a brain in this episode. So, First Order's coming in. And they're just like, you need to put up these propaganda for people to join. I'm not even doing the voice. For others to join the First Order. We're looking for volunteers. You have to keep this hologram up of the First Order propaganda. And the lady that runs the bar, I think she's called Aunt Kay. I can never remember. The girl version of Ray's stepdad on Jakku, that type of alien. So that's her. So Aunt Z, that's her. That's what we're gonna call her because I think that's her name. I've seen every single episode of this, and this is how forgettable these characters are. So she's like, I'm not having that in my bar. And they just look at her and they're just like, but they have no face or they have a face, but it's under a mask. And so then they just, they leave. So then they're just there. Of course, Tam's just like, I don't know what the big deal is, guys. I think that the First Order are here to protect us, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then Nico is just like, hey, guys, there's going to be another race with the ace pilots, and you guys are going to have a chance to be an ace pilot. And then guess who shows up? Tora. Tora, the explorer, Doza's daughter, she comes up, and she's like, guys, I can't find my friend. I don't know what's going on. And Kaz is like, what do you mean you can't find him? What happened to him? And she's like, I don't know, he's disappeared, and there's been so many other people that have been disappearing all over the station. Kaz's like, don't worry, I'll help you find him. Stormtroopers come back because BB-8, the black BB-8, hears that there's something bad going on, and it goes and gets them. Because for some reason, no one thinks, hey, maybe we shouldn't talk shit about the First Order in front of a First Order droid. That we all are aware is right here watching us, recording everything we're saying, but plot, First Order Stormtroopers come back, and they're just like, what seems to be the issue here? And then Tora's just like, and Kaz's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. We're just worried. And you know how Kaz usually is a complete babbling idiot? When he dressed up like the Stormtrooper and he was impersonating the Stormtrooper, he could not figure out how to talk like a Stormtrooper. But now all of a sudden he's cool, he's calm, he's collected. He's like, oh, there's nothing wrong here. And he's, making sure that everyone else knows not to do anything impulsive that's going to piss off the First Order. So Tora is just like, and then Tam comes in. She's like, oh, we're just having a discussion. It seems that some people, because Tam, remember, she's the one that's on the First Order side. She thinks that they're there to help. She doesn't think they're doing anything wrong. She thinks that they're just adding extra security, even though she's probably one of the most intelligent people on this show. For some reason, she's oblivious to the fact that these are the bad guys. She doesn't know what oppression is, apparently. So, she's just like, oh, it's just that we can't find some of our friends, and Stormtroopers are just like, hey, who is your friend? And then they're just like, oh, it's this dude, the knockoff of Greedo. And they're just like, oh, it looks like he was approved to leave the station. Because guess what? They're on lockdown on the station. The Stormtroopers don't want anyone to leave. They're blocking communications. They are blocking transports from leaving and arriving to the station. I wonder what that sounds like. I wonder what type of government that sounds like. I wonder. But logic out the window. So Tam accepts that. She's like, oh, okay, he was scheduled to leave type of thing. And Tora's just like, no, he's my friend. He would never leave without saying goodbye to me. And then, Kaz is just kind of like, shut up, Tora, shut up, Tora. And then the Stormtroopers go to Aunt Z and they're just like, again, pushing the hologram propaganda, and she just kind of has to take it. And so they leave. And then Tam and all of them are just kind of like, oh, okay, well, what are we going to do now? And then Tora is still convinced. She's like, no, there's no way he would have left. So their great idea is to go into the tower, the Ace's tower, and to try to go find him, because apparently that's where he would be. All right, whatever. I mean, again, it's so hard to follow the plot of this episode because it's so insanely stupid, and they just keep trying to have things happen that they think are going to distract you from the actual plot, but it's just a whole lot of nonsense shoved into one episode, and You would think that this is a very easy plot to follow, but it's so all over the place that it doesn't make sense. So, for some reason, instead of talking to people, instead of Tora asking her father, instead of hacking into the computer systems, because we watched in the last episode that Kaz somehow knows how to break into the freaking First Order computer system. Apparently, he can't do that on the freaking barge that he's been on for months now. You would think he would know how to do that, but nope. You would think with the little computer chip that they got from the last episode that they would have been able to break, the coding that the First Order has to break the communications blocks. But no, again, logic out the window, down the corner to infinity and beyond. And like in every other Star Wars, especially the prequels, what do they have in all of the buildings? Oh yeah, that's right, security. Like little sensors that can show you where everyone is, and they have the security holograms. That's why when Obi-Wan goes into the security files, Yoda tells him not to go look at them because he's going to see something that he didn't want to see, which was Anakin killing all the younglings and, bowing down to Darth Sidious, and they were able to see that. I mean, come on. You're telling me that Anakin and Darth Sidious just happened to stand where the only hologram recorder was in the freaking Jedi Temple, and they were able to get that perfect thing? So you're telling me that Tora, who is the daughter of the captain of this freaking barge, doesn't have the security access to go and look at all that stuff? Heck, even if she's not technically allowed to have the security access to this, her dad's the freaking captain. I'm pretty sure she knows better than anyone what the heck the passwords are. Heck, I know both of my parents' passwords to everything because I'm their freaking daughter. And a majority of the time, I'm not supposed to know it, but I know my parents that well to know what their passwords are going to be for things. So you're telling me that this girl that we know sneaks out because she's done it multiple times in this series, that she doesn't know her dad's passwords to everything. But she conveniently knows how to get out of her room. She conveniently knows how to do all these other things. But, whatever. Consistency. Who cares about that stuff, right? So, they get into the Aces Tower, and Tora even says, oh, everything's on lockdown. There's no way for us to possibly get into these systems. Guess what they do? They do. They're able to do it. They go and see the knockoff Greedo's ship, who apparently he was supposed to fly off on it with, but he didn't. It's still there. It's still there in the hangar bay, and it's locked, and they're like, oh, okay, so he didn't leave. Okay, let's go back to Eager's. All right. Instead of, trying to investigate further, maybe trying to tap into the First Order's systems. No, let's just leave. We did all of this. Let's go. Bye, guys. And so, during this little scene, there's like a cut over to Aunt Z's where the stormtroopers want her to keep the signs up, and she's like, no, kinda F you type of thing. And so then, and they all told her, they're like, don't do this, but she did it, and her little robot thing's like, shush up. And she's like, no, I'm not going to stand for that propaganda. I don't need any of this stuff. And so she pisses off the stormtroopers. So they're back at Yeager's. And, they're back at Yeager's. Well, what happens now? See, I haven't had notes on what happens because it's just so all over the place. So they're at Yeager's for like a second, and then they go back to the bar and they find out that she's not there anymore. So they discover that a lot of people are going missing throughout the ship, and she's gone because they go back to the bar and there's like all these people that want drinks. This bar's always dead, but apparently they go back in the one time that the bartender is gone. And apparently this woman does not have a day off because she's apparently the only bartender on this freaking barge aside from her little droid. So yeah, she doesn't have a day off at all, even though I'm assuming that this bar is like 24 hours since this is on a barge where ships are constantly coming and going. Not anymore, though. So, she's gone. Other people are gone, too. What are we gonna do? So they go back to Yeager's. And Kaz is like, we need to talk to Yeager. And again, Kaz hasn't done a stupid thing this entire episode, which was completely mind-blowing. Again, no consistency. What is that? I've said logic out the window, but consistency is just... It's non-existent. This is a make-believe world where people just spontaneously sprout brains. So, he's like, I need to talk to Yeager. And this is supposed to be a big tension moment, guys. He's gonna go talk to Yeager. Nico's just like, no, Yeager doesn't want to be bothered. Don't go bother Yeager. So, Kaz's like, it's okay. And he's like, Yeager, I need to talk to you. My thought was, with all this anticipation, I was like, oh gosh, there's probably stormtroopers in there. Kaz is doing something stupid, because then he starts whispering to the door, not knowing who's behind the door. about everything that the First Order's been doing. So I'm like, oh my god, he's saying everything that he's suspicious of the First Order doing, and then, the stormtroopers are going to be there, because that's a classic thing that they would do with Kaz, because Kaz is an idiot, but guess what, it's not. And it's Captain Doza. Captain Doza is chilling in there with Yeager, and they're talking. And so Tora sees her dad's in there, and she's like, Dad, what are you doing here? And Kaz is just like, the First Order is taking people. We need to fix it. And then Doza explains how they blocked communications. They aren't allowing people to come and go from the station, which we already knew because they talked about it earlier in the episode. And that they are taking the people, the prisoners now. These people are now prisoners of the First Order, and they're taking them to a prison planet. Okay, if you knew this, Doza, get them the hell off your freaking station. And this is something that really, really bothers me to no end about the lack thereof logic in the First Order. So you're in this galaxy where Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Lando Calrissian defeated the Empire. You would think that this republic that Leia is a part of would do everything it could to stop the First Order or to stop another empire from coming. How did they get their resources? What the hell is the Republic doing that they're not paying attention to the biggest fucking threat in the galaxy? How the heck did they let this thing come to be? It doesn't make any sense. You would think that this, with the Empire not being, far in the past, that they would do everything that they could to stop something like that from forming. But apparently they don't care. They don't care that there's this intense, very obvious threat that's just there. It's not like they're in hiding, trying, to pretend that they don't exist. No, they're very, active in the freaking galaxy. But nope, whatever. Logic out the window. Consistency just dead. Everything's just gone. And apparently Leia, the woman who led the freaking resistance, nobody wants to listen to her because she's the leader of the resistance. Sounds freaking familiar. This is literally just a knockoff of the original Star Wars, and it's not done well at all. So, taking people to a prison planet, what do they have to do? Okay, we have to go save them. So, there was a scene where it showed the prisoners, everyone that was taken by the First Order in a box. One of those big, crates that they use to transport things. So they need to go find them. And then Kaz and Tora, I keep getting her and Tam confused with one another because their names are so similar. Him and Tora have to go save them. And so they go, and you know how Kaz has been an idiot in every single episode? Again, he's not. Doesn't trip. Doesn't do something stupid to set off an alarm or to let the guards know that they're there, even though he's done it in every other episode. Doesn't do it in this. In this episode, he has a brain. He's freaking Anakin Skywalker without the Force in this damn episode. So, knock off Anakin Skywalker. I feel like the person that wrote this episode watched the Clone Wars because the dynamic between him and Tora is similar to the dynamic between Anakin and Ahsoka, just not done as well and doesn't fit with the characters at all, because Tora has shown that, from the very first episode that she thinks that, Kaz is, she's like, it seems like she has that kind of relationship with Kaz, the way that you have someone that you work with that you don't really like, but you're nice to them because you're, paid to be there, and you have to be nice to them because you work with them, and it's like, he's the idiot, so it's like, oh, yeah, kind of thing. That's the relationship that we've gotten the impression that Tora, that's their kind of dynamic, and Kaz is just kind of an idiot about it. But apparently, no. Now they want to be Anakin and Ahsoka knockoffs. So they go, they rescue them, and Kaz's thing was like, no, we can't just break you out of this ship. No, what you have to do, since you're an ace pilot, what we're going to do is we're going to take out the stormtroopers. We're going to make it look like you did it, because if you get out on the barge, they're going to look for you. So you guys have to go to another planet. So you're going to get the ship, hijack the ship, and take off and go on your own way. And then the Aunt Z lady is just like, oh yeah, I have a friend in this section this sector of space that we can go to. Which I feel like was a reference to Lando, because the way that she said it was very similar in the dialogue, the way that Han Solo references Lando in Empire Strikes Back. I freaking hope it's not Lando. I hope not. I hope that they spare him, but it's Disney. It's Disney, Noah. Nothing is safe in this universe. So they get away. They beat the stormtroopers, and then Kaz goes back to Yeager to tell him what happened. And when he's on his way back, he's all excited to see Yeager. And guys, I kid you not, this ending, I've never wanted to watch the next episode more. I've never been left on such a cliffhanger in this series where I'm dying to watch the next episode of Star Wars Resistance, because this cliffhanger, oh my gosh, it was great. And I'm talking about this episode that I've been talking about this entire time. The ending of this episode was freaking awesome. You know what happened? And you know what? Oh, it's so good. Best cliffhanger ever. Kaz walks in and he's like, Yeager! Like, as he's about to start talking about everything that him and Tora have been doing. And guess what? There's stormtroopers everywhere surrounding Yeager, surrounding everyone. They're holding them at gunpoint. And then they say Kaz's full name and they're Kazuda da da da. You're under the arrest by the First Order. And I was like, yes! Kill him! Kill Kaz. Let Kaz die. Let this be the ending of this. So I'm very, very much looking forward to this next episode, even though I have a feeling that what I'm hoping for is not going to happen. I feel like my expectations are going to be significantly subverted. And I know that these episodes have been released, so I could easily Google it. I'm not going to, because I need to do a review of it. But I've never been like actually, there has been a very almost every single episode there's a chance of Kaz dying. But this is pretty damn close. Him being, at gunpoint by the First Order, especially right after he just helped release the prisoners. Since we know in every other episode Kaz is a complete idiot, there is no way he's going to get out of this situation. But except in this episode, he spontaneously grew a brain. So, that is episode 17 of Star Wars Resistance. If I forgot anything, it's because it is not even worth mentioning, and it is not even significant enough for me, a person who has sat through this episode multiple times to try to do this review. It's just, if you want to lose brain cells, go ahead and watch this for yourself. It's honestly not worth it. It's not. It's painful. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this review / breakdown of Star Wars Resistance. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that little bell, that way you get notifications when I do video, or when I release other videos and when I do live streams, because people tend to like those. My puppy Tulip is usually in them. So everyone, with that being said, have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye! Hey everyone, after being asked for months now, I finally got a P.O. box, so if you want to send me some mail, go ahead and send it to Anna, that Star Wars girl, or TSWG for short, at P.O. Box number 28171, Santa Ana, California, 927998171. Thank you, have a great day, guys.